All right. Hello, Sarah here. So good to be back sharing the information with you guys. Today is Monday as I'm recording this, so I've just got that good Monday energy flowing, and I don't know what got me thinking about this, but this morning I was just reminiscing on this patient that truly hated me when she first met me, and really why she was a catalyst in me starting my own practice. So, this was in my old job. For those of you that don't know, a lot of clinics work like this, but this is how my clinic worked. Not the one that I own, but the one that I worked at. We were on 45-minute one-on-one treatment sessions, and for you to work in the insurance model, you have to see your patient for a certain duration of time in that 45-minute slot. So it's pretty close to 45 minutes, but you have to see them for that full amount of time to bill units to actually make a profit off of that patient. So quite literally, you're seeing patients from 8 to 8:45, from 8:45 to 9:30. There's no break time, there's no time to pee, there's no time to eat a snack. You're just like a savage, working time in, time out to make sure that you're getting these patients through. And I'm a really timely person, so it's really hard on me to be late for a client, because I feel it. I'm like, oh my gosh, they drove here, they took time. I just want to be on and available for them. So I remember this woman was coming in for an initial evaluation. I'd never met her before, and the client that I was working with before her was an older gentleman. He comes in with his son. He has dementia, and he works so hard in the clinic. But when the session's over, it takes time for him to put his shoes back on and kind of shuffle out, and it's just not this quick get up and go. So I remember working with him and trying to wrap up a little bit earlier, and she's across the waiting room, and I'm the only female therapist, so she knows that she's with Dr. Sarah, so she's glaring at me from across the waiting room, and I'm like, all right, here we go. So I'm helping this patient out, and I quickly just run back and type my note, which truly takes me about 1 minute at this time to just write a quality note. And then I go up to get her, and I could tell she's kind of peeved because I'm not tip top on time. It's probably 5 minutes past at this point, and I bring her in, we do our pleasantries, and I'm just trying to butter her up to have a good eval. And I'll give you guys context. So for me to do a quality evaluation, I would say now in my practice now, I schedule 90 minutes, truly to have a quality time, to have a good rapport with the patient, to get to know them, and then fully look at everything that I want to see, as well as be able to explain what's going on, have them ask questions and confidently understand what's going on, and then prescribe them exercises, and then go over them and have them explain why they're doing each exercise, what it's supposed to look like, how many times a week, so on and so forth. And then quality say goodbye and not just bye. I schedule 90 minutes. So I'm doing about a 90-minute job in 40 minutes. So I eval this woman. She has this foot thing going on. It's common. And we get to the end of the session, and I'm like, okay, basically, you have a tendonitis of your foot going on. You have pretty big collapsing on this foot, so you're really wringing out that tendon. I think if we improve your control and strength, you are actually going to do really well, and I'm going to go over 2 exercises with you, but we have 2 minutes left, so I'm going to show these to you, and then on Thursday when you come back, I will make sure that you understand them beautifully. So I go over them, and she, says she understands them, and then the next minute she's like, will you film all of these for me on my iPad? And will you write all of these down for me? And then will you email all of these things to me? And then these are the rest of the questions that I have. And I was like, okay, I'm actually really sorry, but I actually don't have, much time left with you. And I should have said I don't have any time left with you, because that was the truth. And she just looked at me and she said, I will never forget this voice. She just goes, don't rush me. And I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, I am out here trying to do like, 90 minutes worth of quality examination in 40 minutes. I'm also not going to put my next patient on the bike, which is what a lot of people have to do because they're in this time restraint. Because I don't believe that the bike really has therapeutic quality just to put them on the bike, to put them on the bike. So I'm like, I want to start my next patient somewhat on time so they can have that, like, they can have that full quality session. But all of the things that she wants me to do, these things are probably going to take an extra like 10 to 15 minutes. So I'm like, I really don't have time to do this, and I don't want to just throw my next patient on the bike. So I just had to bite the bullet and say, I'm really sorry, this is my fault. Sorry that I can't, talk to you for the rest of this time. But really, it's just the system that I was in. And I will never forget, like, in that moment being like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want people to yell at me because they want and deserve better, and I can give it to them, but I can't give it to them based on the time restraints that I have been put in during this time, kind of under this insurance model. And really, like, this was a huge catalyst for me to start my practice. So in juxtaposition, like today, I was working with a client that I work with under my practice, and it was not an initial evaluation. It was just kind of a daily visit. And we got to the end of the session, and we finished working on, hip and running, quality, and I'm not going to explain more of that, but we finished working on what we needed to work on. And I also know that this woman is about to deliver a baby via C-section in a couple of weeks. And I wanted to do my due diligence at the end of the session, which was about an hour, and sit down and say, hey, like, what are you planning on doing for this? Do you have a PT lined up? Do you need me to help you with this? Do you want me to find someone for you? So on and so forth. And we spent 5 to 10 minutes kind of going over this because I want her to have the best quality of care, not in just what I'm doing, but in the whole, medical sphere. I want her to have the best tools, the best equipment, to have, good plan of care with me and have a good delivery. And it was no big deal because I schedule like cushion time around my clients. I am not pushed to see this patient and then this patient and then this patient. And you know what? If I did have a client right after her, my next client probably would have totally understood, and then I probably could have treated that person late. But I don't like having the back-to-back because there are those instances where things happen and it's like, I just need more time with you, and I want to be able to give that to my clients. And when I actually go back to this woman that quote unquote hated me, what I didn't know about her in the beginning was that her doctor actually told her that she, because of this posterior tibialis tendinopathy, which is not super uncommon, she needs to buy these really expensive orthotics. She needs to buy these really expensive, really ugly shoes. She is never allowed to walk again for exercise. That's what the doctor told her. She's never allowed to walk her dog again. Walking on uneven surfaces, such as the beach, is a no-go. Pickleball, any of those things are a no. And when she came to me, I was the first person that said, okay, like, I actually think that if we do, improve your control and improve your strength and give you some exercises to improve the integrity of your posterior tibialis tendon, I actually think you're going to do pretty well, and we can monitor based on your symptoms how you're feeling and be able to progress you, back to your life that you want to live because you're young and you want to be able to get out there and do all these things. So I was really the first person in her life that was equipping her with hope and tools and empowerment to be able to overcome this foot issue. So at the end of the session, when I'm saying, hey, I'm dangling the carrot and saying, hey, like, yeah, these are the things that you should, be able to do, but I'm not going to tell them to you for, a couple more days. Yeah, like, I would have probably gotten really mad at myself too, or, at my PT as well. And as I continued to work with her, she was such a compliant patient. She did absolutely everything. She got significantly better. And honestly, like, she was able to walk a lot farther, but she was so scarred from what her doctor told her that she should never walk again for exercise, that she said, I don't want to walk more than 30 minutes, like, for the rest of my life. Like, I don't want to do that because my doctor said that to me. And what I think looking back is that she would have crushed it in my programs now. If I would have had that day with her to answer all of her questions, make her feel seen, you know, take her iPad and do all of her exercises and video those for her, I think that would have been really, really valuable for her to be able to just see the hope for the future, like kind of have a taste of it, get excited about being able to walk and play pickleball and walk her dog again, and kind of win her life back. So where I'm at now is I keep that story in mind. Like, I think that story came to mind because as I was going to treat my dream client in my dream scenario of having all of my time, I reflect back on these instances where I wasn't able to give my clients what they wanted, what they deserve, and now I do. Now I can. So I treat clients in the Seattle area. I do nitty-gritty physical therapy in the Seattle area. And yeah, I work with female runners with hip pain, and I get them from where they are now, whatever pains, frustrations they're going through, to reach their wildest dreams. So 10Ks, half marathons, fulls, ultras, and doing it comfortably, relatively comfortably, and pain-free. I also work with women online, virtually. I do virtual training and coaching to build up running integrity, to be able, again, to do it comfortably, and pain-free. And I know a lot of people are like, Sarah, insurance is why we can, afford certain things, or it's really unfair that you're not doing insurance because that's the only way I can afford this. And I will say, like, I have a lot of free to relatively inexpensive content that I put out. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in my link tree. I have tons of free things. I have a couple like $30 things. I have like a $150 program. I have a $300 program, and then the list goes up. But I just want to end this call saying that if you're, sick and you're tired of just being thrown around, not having like the time to have someone to listen to you, or you just feel like, you've tried everything, go ahead, set up a call with me. So strategywithsarah.com. I would love to just like infuse hope into your situation, infuse hope into maybe something that feels really hopeless, and give you some techniques and strategies on how to get to your goal. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thanks for listening. And if my patient out there is listening that used to hate me, thank you so much for yelling at me, because now women are getting care that they deserve.